It's high summer at River Cottage, but my season of plenty is being ruined by some crazy August storms. I've been waiting for weeks now for a dry stretch to cut the top field for hay, vital winter feed for my livestock.
Every time I set aside a day for my neighbour to come over with his tractor, this happens. Well, my time has just about run out now because the grass is absolutely flattened and there's no way I'm going to get any hay at all.
What should have yielded 200 bales of free hay is now utterly worthless. It never rains, but it pours, and my main cash crop, the tomatoes, are also in peril. There's just 3 weeks to go until the farmer's market, when I'm supposed to be flogging these toms. All was looking promising, until the appearance of a sinister mould.
Come and have a look at this.
Yeah, that looks a bit blighty to me.
Is it blight?
I think so. It's just really hot and humid in here. Absolutely perfect conditions.
For blight?
Yeah.
Michael Michaud is my polytunnel guru, and I've asked him over to troubleshoot. But he and I have a wager as to who'll sell the most at the farmer's market, so I'm hoping his keen competitive spirit won't stand in the way of this neighbourly mission of mercy.
Okay, what I would do... Oh, God, this is just awful. Take off the worst bits. Hopefully, by reducing... No, don't throw them down. You got take the leaves and take them out.
They've got to get... Oh, God,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, like this one, take the whole thing off. Stop pinching out. Try to get some more leaves coming on.
So fresh young leaves?
Even if it shoots. Yeah, so, it might delay it. It might delay it. I'm not going to guarantee anything.
So, strip out all the bad leaves and pray for some sunshine.
I think so.
That's my only hope.
That's what I would try.
And hopefully still see you on the 18th of September.
Yeah, but get ready to lose.
Despite his unbearable gloating, my hunch is that Michael really wants a fair fight, so I'll just have to trust him. Late summer is the season of the agricultural show. 2 of my lambs have already gone to slaughter, but I'm hoping that one of my remaining 4 will stand me in good stead in my first experience as a sheep shower. But there's more to showing sheep than just dragging them into a ring, so I've asked local enthusiast Joanna Forsey to initiate me into the arcane arts of sheep presentation.
Yeah, that's quite a kit you've got here, Joe. What are the essential elements?
You've got your washing flakes.
This is for washing pure new wool.
Well, what have you got? Pure new wool?
Is it
the
pure?
Best lamb's wool you're going to get.
This looks pretty grubby to me.
With her discerning eye, Jo instantly selects one of my ewe lambs, coincidentally also called Joanna, as superior to her sister Hattie.
There we go.
Yeah.
Go. Do you mind if I put these on before I get stuck into the back end?
Yeah, big wimp. Go on then.
Well, it just means I'll be able to get that much more involved.
Do you reckon?
I usually find.
Oh, I believe you. 1, 2, 3.
In you go, darling.
Okay. That's it. Come on. Gather it right in and really...
9 months of rain, mud and no loo paper have made some seemingly indelible marks.
Should have started this process a long time ago, I feel.
You do like hands-on, don't you?
I always pick the wrong end.
Where's
I think she's rather enjoying this, aren't you?
You've got to look your best as well, by the way.
Oh, really?
Afraid. So, you've got to look as good as she'll look in the ring.
Very little chance of that, the way things are going, eh?
Well, you can't let her down.
Oh, she looks good after that. She looks a bit like Tina Turner now.
Well, let's hope she's a bigger hit then. We'll be all right. All right.
Once her fleece is dry enough, the crucial trimming begins.
Yeah.
All right. All we're going to do is just take off the tips. Can you see?
Yeah,
all right.
Just where they're sort of stuck together.
Nice and...
Are we trying to get a sort of square back?
Yeah, we want a nice square back.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you seen them at shows?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen photographs.
Yeah, and you have it
they
like, it
almost
looks
look
like a table. Just take off...
Sculpting Joanna's wool to show-winning standards is going to take a good week of daily trimming, so Jo's offered to come over and keep an eye on my work.
When they show these ewes, they should really get a ram to judge, shouldn't they? A group of rams standing in a row, all holding up cards between 1 and 10.
With her back flat as a board, the rear end now needs a bit of attention. And soon she's beginning to look the part. With a bit of luck, in a week's time, Princess Joanna of River Cottage could be a real contender. August also brings with it the prospect of uncultivated food, And with all the rain we've been having, there's a very good chance of fungi.
I like to think that I know my wild onions, so to speak, but there's no substitute for local knowledge. And I'm about to team up with a couple of likely lads who reckon they've got that in spades.
Nick Cadwell and Paddy Rudd prefer not to pay for their food, so we've set ourselves the task of dinner for three for free. Paddy leads the way down a woody path, which in spring he knows is lush with wild garlic leaves. But at this time of year, we're going underground for the bulbs.
But these are really nice because, I mean, they're bigger than when you...
Yeah.
If you dig one up in the spring, it's like a little spring onion, but now it's quite chunky.
It's almost like a cross between an onion and garlic. It's not strong as domestic garlic, but it's
More like a shallot.
With one great flavouring in the bag, we're off in search of a main course.
Hey, I'll have some up there.
Picking up some bullaces, a sort of wild plum, on the way. Paddy and Nick prefer 4 wheels to 2 legs when fungi spotting, but their favourite vantage point requires a serious climb.
You can see it all from up here.
yeah, it's all permanent pastures.
360.
Nick, what's that down there?
Where to?
Down to the left here.
What, those
That's gotta be
white dots?
Horse mushrooms, maybe.
That can't be.
Jesus,
Those must be footballs.
Must be I think
That's
it's
puffballs.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, it is. It's puffballs. Jesus, those big
They
as
must
sheep.
be enormous.
Yeah, 1,
Perfect
2,
ring.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's at least 10 there.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You're betting that?
I am.
Let's bet.
Weight or size?
Sweepstake on the weight of the biggest puffball down there.
I'm
Bigger
going to
than
say 6.5 pounds.
That's
I
too
think
big.
that's probably about right. I think that's about it.
Good, good.
Well, you'll have to go one side or the other then. won't
Yeah, I'll go 6 pounds 7 ounces.
you? I'm going to go higher. I'm going to go. What were you? 6.5.
20.
I'm going to go 6.9. So it's 6.9, 6.8, 6.7.
Right.
Unless you're bang on, I'm afraid, Nick, you're stuffed.
Well, let's get down there and pick them, shall we?
Look at the size of that.
Superb.
What a monster.
Doesn't look real, does it?
Wow.
Someone, actually, I read somewhere that if all the spores from one puffball germinated and all the spores from them germinated, there'd be
The entire surface of the globe
no,
will
it'd
be
be 70
covered in...
times bigger than the Earth or something like that.
Let's just hope they don't all germinate.
Yeah,
We'll be in trouble.
In the interests of saving the universe, we take just 1 each, including the biggest, leaving the other 7 to spread their unearthly spores.
Yeah, okay, good shot, mate.
Paddy's shotgun bags the meat course. Then we head into the woods in search of tree-loving fungi.
Fine chicken of the woods.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's a big one.
It is. I don't know whether we'll need all of it.
And there's none finer than the sulphur polypore, or chicken of the woods.
Excellent. Stick it in the basket then, shall we?
Yeah. Chicken in the basket.
On the way back to the car, we pick up a couple of horse mushrooms. And for veg, some juicy young comfrey leaves.
That's it, do I reckon.
I'm going to bung them in here.
Not a bad day's haul, all in all. And now it's back to Paddy's place in Bridport.
We're going to shoot twice. Oh my life.
It's close. It's very
come
close.
on. Come on.
It's very close.
It's dead on 6.5.
Oh, he's on
I
the
see what you mean.
That's unbelievable.
You were in with so little chance of winning.
Cheers, Hugh.
I think you deserve some congratulations there, mate. That was very accurate.
That's astonishing.
Thank you very much.
With all debts settled, it's time to cook. A puffball just begs to be stuffed. So while I remove the middle, the boys get to work on the filling. An oniony bite comes from the wild garlic, full fungal flavours from the chicken of the woods and the horse mushrooms, and gamey protein from the chopped pigeon meat. Everything is fried up, including the marshmallow-like flesh of the puffball. A handful of parsley and sage from Paddy's garden goes in, and all the ingredients are mixed together. A spoonful of intensely reduced pigeon stock adds richness, and some of Nick's potatoes' essential body.
It does look good. It does look good. I'm going to be able to fill it.
I hope so.
A carefully carved bung seals in all the flavours, and the lid restores the puffball to its full glory. Well wrapped to prevent collapse, it needs a good 2 hours in a medium oven. The comfrey leaves are steamed for a few minutes in an inch of water, just like spinach, and then we turn our attention to the bullaces. With 2 pounds of sugar and 3 bottles of cheap vodka, they'll be transformed into a fabulous fruity liqueur. Just leave well alone for 2 years.
There it is.
Wow. Let's do the honours with the foil. I can't wait to see what colour it is.
No, that's what I'm wondering.
Could be golden brown, could be sludgy grey.
Oh my god.
Oh, interesting. Still there.
Well, it's gonna... it's...
Steaming away nicely. Shall we try popping the cork, as it were?
Yeah.
Very moist.
It's holding that juice in well, isn't it?
No leaks.
No. Yeah, look at that.
Another splash of wine then.
Cheers.
A bit of inner puffball, bit of pigeon, maybe a bit of outer puffball.
In one go.
All on one fork.
That was superb.
There's a lovely overall mushroom flavour.
Yeah.
Do you get a faint smell of wet, muddy Labrador? I'm not saying it's unpleasant. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
One small piece of lead shot.
No, I had one earlier, I swallowed it.
Have you noticed how if you've been eating game, the lead
The
pellets
clang in the pan.
accumulate at the bottom of the loo?
Yes.
Have you noticed that? They don't flush away.
I haven't, no.
I thought I'd been shot up the backside, but
High on shrooms but fresh out of wine, we're hungry for further action. Luckily, Bridport is the town that never sleeps. Playing at the Bull, a local band, Bad Acid, famed for their open mic slot. The only rule is, give it all you've got. From rock legend to sheep trainer in just 8 hours. With the show looming, Joanna has to be taught how to be led in a halter. If only she'd seen me last night. She'd be putty in my hands. Tomorrow's the day of the show, and Joe foresees coming round tonight to give the princess her final primp. By way of an appropriate thank you, I'm cooking her the first ever leg of River Cottage lamb. But I'm also looking to the river to provide us with an exotic starter.
Ah, gotcha. A few weeks ago I was clearing some weed in the river when I got a nasty nip from what turned out to be one of these little fellows. It's a crayfish, unfortunately not a native one. These are American signals, which are farmed in ponds locally for food. Inevitably, a few escapees find their way into the river, where they do absolutely no good at all, munching on trout eggs and generally hammering their poor native cousins. You Americans are so greedy.
After 3 weeks of trapping, my holding cage now contains enough, if not for a feast, then at least for a generous first course. But before I deal with the crayfish, I've got something special in mind for my homegrown leg of lamb.
The tradition of cooking with hay goes back to the big 19th century shooting parties, where the cooks would pack these enormous joints of meat in wooden boxes lined with hay to keep the meat hot on the journey across the fields to the guns. But what also became apparent with this process is that hay delivers a lovely grassy flavour into the meat.
With no new hay at all, a basket full of my dwindling reserves is an extravagant gesture. I've also got some rosemary, marjoram and thyme from the garden. The hay is going to be a sort of base level constant flavour, and these, if you like, these intense herbs are going to be the high notes. I just have to mush up the herbs with a bit of butter to get a nice butter ball, and then I'm going to smear it all over the lamb. And generosity is the key. It's going to be a ½ inch thick covering of herby butter all over the meat. Now for the hay. And this isn't just about flavour, it's about achieving maximum succulence in the meat, because this hay is a great insulator, which means very little of the juices from the meat are going to evaporate. They're all going to stay inside this little nest that we make. Pop the meat on it. We do have to be a little bit careful that there aren't too many straggly ends, because the hay will catch fire, and if that happens you're going to have a very nasty situation in the kitchen. So just tuck in these edges. A double layer of foil provides the final insurance against combustion, and then it's going to go in a very hot oven for 2.5 hours. Which gives plenty of time to deal with my crayfish. They're really just giant freshwater prawns, so what better treatment than a crayfish cocktail? They've been boiled for 5 minutes and left to cool before the tail meat is removed. For the sauce, ½ kilo of my sweetest Sungold tomatoes, roasted with olive oil and garlic, are passed through a sieve to produce a rich pulpy ketchup. This is blended with 1/4 litre of mayonnaise and seasoned with pepper, a generous pinch of paprika and a squeeze of lemon. The tail meat's then coated in the sauce, and a bed of lettuce, slices of lemon, and a final sprinkling of paprika complete this reworked retro classic.
She looks gorgeous, doesn't she?
So a razor-sharp bit of hairdressing you've done there.
Yeah, you have to have a good eye.
You see all the other sheep are jealous? Down in the shed, Joanna's looking every inch the princess. I see a tiny little tuft, just an incy. Can I just have one last snip?
All right, one last one, only a little one though.
That's it, got it.
All right, happy?
That's very close to perfection.
It is, isn't it?
After days of snipping and sculpting, pre-show cocktails are definitely in order.
They're lovely.
Very nice, aren't they?
And you caught them here?
Yeah, right here in the river.
I'm really impressed. You've got good teeth.
It's not too hard, actually, to crack this.
Going to pay my dentist bill. Oh,
Not too bad, is it?
Oh, you're right, they're not actually.
Once we've nailed the crayfish, it's on to the main event. Leg of lamb in hay, served with ratatouille and flageolet beans. Let's have a crack in anyway. Look at that.
They're nice though. Isn't that beautiful? Just nice bit
keeps
of
the
fat.
moisture in. Quite fatty, aren't they? This is a bit fattier than a commercial lamb.
Don't say fatty because it adds to the flavour.
Well, I think so.
You've been busy.
Oh, yes.
Am I allowed to say you're not just a pretty face, you know?
You're certainly allowed to say that. I have to say, this is a real treat.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's got an extra level of flavour compared to a supermarket lamb.
Oh, you can't compare that.
I'm knocked out by it, actually.
You won't want
really
to eat it anywhere else unless you've cooked it or it's one of your own now, will you?
I won't want to eat anyone else's after this, that's for sure.
No.
I feel it's like a bizarre initiation for me into the whole world of showing. Would it be fair to say that it's a slightly peculiar mentality, the whole thing? It's just a sort of... It's quite obsessive, isn't it?
Oh, it's very upset. Once you've done it, hopefully the bug will bite and you'll be back next year.
Do you think?
Yes.
How do they find the time? Because, I mean, these are busy farmers.
They make time. It's just such a buzz to be part of it. And you will really, hopefully, enjoy it tomorrow.
I'm excited.
Are you?
And
do you think
nervous.
you'll sleep tonight?
I don't think I'll sleep a wink. Next morning, Princess Joanna and I are nervous early arrivals at the showground. Come on, girl. In you go. Come on. Luckily, Joe's already on hand to help calm us down a bit.
So the competition will be lining up literally right next door to me.
I'm afraid so. It won't just be a one sheep show.
Sadly, I might be in with a chance.
Are you still in with a chance? She looks super this morning, doesn't
Does
she?
look good, doesn't she?
Being early has its advantages. As the show starts to fill up, I've got time to grab a bite to eat.
And a bacon roll with brown sauce, please.
And catch up with a few old friends. Butcher Ray Smith helped me sort out my pigs last summer. And Peggy Darville, who sold them to me in the first place, is showing one of her top sows. Melplash is West Dorset's answer to Ascot, and a pretty good answer it is too. Eventually, serious competition arrives in the form of the godfather of the Dorset Down, John Randall, and Richard Holloway, the man who sold me my flock back in March.
Do you think she looks okay?
It looks wonderful, yeah. Put my hand on its back a minute. You've looked after her extremely well. She's been fed very well. I can tell that by just putting my hand on her back.
She's come from very good stock, Richard.
I'd like to think so.
The best.
Well, today will tell, won't it?
With high praise for the princess ringing in my ears, it's time to attend to my own presentation. While the other classes are being judged, the nerves are starting to fray.
Really? Very fine sheep.
Eventually we're off, and what Judge Marilyn Burrows doesn't know about Dorset Downs isn't worth a Chilvers dag, as they say around here.
I'm sorry.
Standing up.
After the preliminary general fondling, we're in 4th place, but now it's time for the promenade.
Good girl.
That's fine.
The princess is a little frisky, but we've done enough to move up the line to 2nd place, above Mr. Randall, but still below Mr. Holloway. The tension is mounting, and I'm daring to hope Mrs. Burrows' final squeezes could send me to the top of the line and the coveted blue rosette. It's obviously very close.
Thank you.
Sadly, it's not to be, and Mr. Holloway prevails. But at least the blue rosette goes to the man who bred my princess.
Thank you, Joe.
That's all right, Hugh. Well done. You did brilliantly.
It wouldn't be considered vulgar to put this up there. Good.
Everybody shows off.
It's a bit more exciting than showing vegetables.
And 2nd prize is still enough to earn us an honoured place in the grand parade.
Few words now about the goats that we take here today. The goats have had to move across the river because they don't look any the worse for it.
Having made me a very proud man, Joanna returns to the fold, just one of the flock again. But top breeding stock, and who knows, possibly the mother of future champions.